I've just come to my AlphaSmart Neo. This is a brilliant device. I've referenced it before, and there's a little 2 or 3 minute video about it elsewhere on the channel, but this is really useful. I've got a new book in mind. At the moment it's all up here. I have some little index cards about something that I will work on for it, but all I need to do with this device is literally switch it on here. You can see that I've got 5 lines of text on the screen there. But what's interesting is how quick it is to write. I've videoed some of the work. If I just hit Control W on this, what I get to see, and I'll share it with you here, is that I've written 805 words, and that's taken 30 minutes. Normally, on my laptop, that would take me around 40 minutes to an hour. So this is almost twice as fast. It shows me that I've got 23 paragraphs, perhaps 2.5 pages of standard letter format text when this gets printed after converting it to my MacBook Air. But that's 805 words in a very short space of time. I'm going to write for an hour to see what that actually gives me. It may be double that at sort of 1600 words, I don't know. But this is a great device. It's very easy to use. It doesn't have, I mean, there's some light here from the office, but it doesn't have on this liquid crystal display the glare or the white light that I get on my MacBook. Yesterday I had a colossal migraine, and it was because I'd spent 2 or 3 hours at my laptop early in the evening, and I should have stepped away from my laptop when I got that sense of a headache. Instead, I carried on with the manuscript, and I shouldn't have done that. But today I'm only working on my AlphaSmart Neo, and not only is it good for my health, it's also a faster way of writing. Well, that's quite amazing. I've been writing for 55 minutes using my AlphaSmart Neo, and I am at, if we can see it on here, 1719 words. That would normally take me about 2 hours. So I have effectively, with this $50 piece of equipment, saved myself an hour of writing activity. That's amazing to me. I've written a book before. My book, 10-Minute Budget, was created on the AlphaSmart Neo almost 3 years ago during a winter writing competition. But I didn't track and monitor the hours that it took me to write the first draft, print it off, and then polish that draft into something that became a good book. But this is it. This is all it is. It's a lovely piece of kit. It's called an AlphaSmart. You can buy them at various outlets online as second-hand used equipment, but it is a robust piece of kit. And compared to my MacBook, it's a fraction of the cost. It's a place to take your ideas and drop them into this device, and it frees up the mind, quite apart from the mention I made of having a migraine yesterday from lots of activity looking at YouTube, editing videos, writing in a Word document. The AlphaSmart has been a joy, and I can grab my pen and paper and tick off 1700 words today in a simple hour. I've got the two devices here. I've got my AlphaSmart Neo in front of me, and then behind that is my MacBook Air. What you'll see on the screen here, it says attached to the Mac emulating keyboard, press send to transfer file 1. Here's my send button. If we look to the MacBook, you'll see that the document is appearing in a fairly straightforward way. That will take a while because there were 1700 words. To some people that can be an inordinate delay, but basically you're not going to transfer that file until you've written several pages, or maybe you've worked on a scene within a particular story. This is an example of some non-fiction where I'm just drafting ideas and playing with the concepts of what I might start to include in the early pages of a book about investment options that might include stocks, it might include property, it might include Airbnb or rental activity to short-term guests as well as long-term tenants staying for several months. But I'm just playing with ideas, and what this has allowed me to do in 1 hour is add 1,700 words to my first scope of ideas. And that's it. The file has been transferred. My 1,700 words is still on here in one of these 8 files that run across the top. Each one of those can take up to 10,000 words, which is an amazing facility for something that has very little need for changing the battery other than every few years. I've had this machine over 3 years because that's when I wrote the 10-minute budget book that you see just here. It was written completely on the AlphaSmart Neo on this particular machine. If you fancy one of these just as something to try as an alternative to the bright screen of your laptop, if you want something like this, have a look online. I had a look today and they're anything from between $40 to $100 on eBay with all sorts of shipping options to be added to that. But it's a great device, it's very rugged, it's very strong, it's made of very hard plastic. I think it would pass a drop test, but I'm not going to do that for the sake of protecting my own machine. But it's very easy to pop into an alternative laptop bag or a rucksack. Some of the items that you will get hold of online come in a variety of AlphaSmart bags. This one is particularly designed for the Neo and the Neo 2, which is this particular body shape for the device. If you don't get one in a sleeve or a protective cover, it doesn't really matter. They're very durable. They have an easy on-off switch that can power the machine down, and also a double key motion so it doesn't actually get switched on whilst it's in your rucksack. I trust that's helpful. This has been a great machine. If you haven't read any of my books, particularly things like The 10-Minute Budget or The Declutter Your Home, please go online, get yourself a copy, and thank you for leaving a review on the Amazon platform, because all of that helps other readers who are thinking about buying particular copies of an author's book. That's been my little share of my AlphaSmart. It's a great device. I'm really happy with it. It has a brilliant search facility. Using the arrows, I can go through any document very quickly and find something I want to change. I can cut and paste. I can make inserts within the document that I'm working on. I've got a spell checker, and I've also got that word count facility, which I used just to track how much I was writing in the second half hour of my writing session today. These are quirky devices, and they'll appeal to anybody who likes the idea of something that they can keep using, has a very low drain on energy usage. These 8 files across the top row, each of those can hold up to 10,000 words. So those could be 10 separate documents, it could be a to-do list, it could be a planning tool, it could be a first draft manuscript, some items for college or for work, or they could be different chapters within a book that you're working on. For me, my file 1 is the file that I worked on today. Tomorrow I will add to that, probably in the same file. If I just put 5,000 or more words in each of those files, that gives me 40 to 80,000 words of content written over the course of December and January. And that's far more than I need for this particular book and this new manuscript. Have a look at it. It's a great piece of kit. There are lots of them available online. It doesn't really cost anything compared to the modern distraction-free devices that are available. And from my perspective, this is a little bit more flexible and a little bit more forgiving than some of the other pieces of kit that are out there, which cost hundreds of dollars. My AlphaSmart is back in its carry case. Tomorrow it will have an outing to the coffee shop. Wherever you are in the world at this time of year, and whatever you're working on, happy writing.